Welcome, gang. What is good? Trump, what's the story? No mention of Bitcoin, man. But yeah, he got this Trump, Melania, Ivanka, the whole family coins, but no mention of Bitcoin. What's the story? Of course, the Doge Council has been created. That website is up. Don't know if it's running just yet, but nonetheless, there's hype behind that right now. But the market is going to be opening very, very soon. That's the stock market. And yeah, I've got these shades on because these are my glasses now. Eyes are getting fried, gang. Yes, they are. So if you like them, give me a hey, ya. Give me whatever you want to give me. Give me your positive comments, your negative comments. Either way, we just got to use these shades from now on. And it's a bit weird as well, man. It's like everything is just bright. And who cares? Trump's tariffs are really the main topic. Yesterday, he was like, okay, we're not going to be doing so much with the tariffs. But listen, the tariffs themselves are not going to be put straight away, in the sense you're not going to see the impact of it. This is going to be a prolonged period of time. So just the speculation of it alone is going to make the market react to it. However, we've got ourselves a very interesting week. We've got earnings call coming out. And what I'm going to be doing today, I'm going to be going over the options from last night's video and having a little look into what's going on with Microstrategy, because Microstrategy, those investors aren't really feeling the flavor of Bitcoin, man. They're like, they're short on the stock, but Bitcoin? But like I said this before, Bitcoin is not Microstrategy. Microstrategy, in principle, is just a stock that holds a lot of Bitcoin. Would you buy BlackRock stock because of its Bitcoin holdings as such? No, you wouldn't. You'd look deeper into it, which is why Microstrategy is taking a little bit of a bleed, because investors are still maintaining that Wall Street flavor. They pay themselves, and if the good's not looking good, then they do something about it. Now, something that I will want to address with you all, this Bank of Japan story, before we get into the charts and what have you. That story right there, as much as last time it was unannounced, you've got to understand, I don't think they're going to price it in, or it hasn't been priced in just yet. I really don't think it has been priced in. There have been too many metrics keeping price of assets above right now. You've had the election, you've had the inauguration now, you've got the idea of interest rate cuts coming into play. So those are the things that are keeping investors at bay. But once Bank of Japan declared to us what they plan on doing, and given that Trump has not said anything about tariffs to China just yet, maybe Mexico, and of course Canada, that's caused a little bit of a problem, as you saw last night. NASDAQ, S&P took a sweep to the downside. But we've got to really just say, well, you've got to ask yourself this. If you were an investor and you had money tied up in dollars right now, are you going to wait for the event to happen before you do something about it? That means the increase in interest rates, because they tell us that they want to hike the interest rates. But Bank of Japan have this tendency to say something and then they end up doing something completely different, which is why we're not really seeing anything happening just yet. So we're going to get into the charts right now, guys. Have a look at what articles are hitting the marketplace, just to get you guys aligned with what we can expect going into the open. Remember, the stock market has not been able to react to the Trump inauguration, to the tariffs. We have seen the NASDAQ and cryptocurrency making some moves, but the stock market is where it's at. The bonds market is where it's at. Okay, so we're going to dive into all of that and then give you guys some insight into what can happen next. So if you are new, hit the like button, do all of that madness. Let's get with the program, gang. Here we go. So Trump tariff shifts, warning for corporate America. Now, listen, there is speculation that we are going to be heading into a trade war. That's what the guys on the street are talking about. Now, this is really important because you're putting tariffs on Mexico, you're putting tariffs on Canada, you're putting tariffs on China. Japan has sat there thinking, when are you going to do the flavor, Mr. Trump? And when's he going to talk about Bitcoin? But we'll talk about that very shortly. But the idea is that he's been boasting on the idea of tariffs being such a beautiful word. Tariffs means benefit for the dollar. Now, how far and how much will the dollar go up? Does Trump want to get the dollar to a point where the purchasing power is retained again? Remember, it's 25% down, even further from its initial proper purchasing power. That's going to be squeezing a lot of markets, especially when you've got tariffs on top of that purchasing power. So we've just got to really be careful about it, because even though we're going into earnings right now, you've got earnings season coming into play on to Tuesday today. We've got Netflix coming in at the close. You've got a bank coming out at some point. And then you've got Charles Schwab Corporation. Banks have been doing pretty well with their earnings, so we could only assume that they're going to be doing okay as well. But the week doesn't really have that many major news announcements for stocks. Going into the calendar, you can see Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, Homemade, the household stocks that everyone's familiar with. And then you've got Intuitive Surgical, which I do recommend you guys keep an eye on, because Intuitive Surgical, they are in my opinion, they're a really good stock for biomedical. It's a company that makes robots to conduct surgery. It's a really good company, I think. Anyways, and then you got American Express on Friday, and then Monday we just have nothing else coming out other than just normal companies. So no big heavyweights, to say the least. Now, going into the markets on the news in cryptocurrency, check this out. Trump's World Liberty Finance, they've been making some purchases, all right? You see they got some Ethereum, they bought some AVA, they bought a little bit of weighted Bitcoin, and it's wrapped Bitcoin, weighted, what am I talking about? And yeah, something big looks like it's cooking according to Ash Crypto, all right? Then you got this article right here, which is the follow-on from the meme coin madness. I think the reason why cryptocurrency really hasn't done as much as it could have is because of Solana. All the money went over there. That's where it went. And now we've got quite a bit of Solana going into exchanges, which natural thing is, if you're looking into putting Solana into exchanges, that means that they're going to be looking to get rid of it and they're seeking liquidity. Let's hope that's not the case, guys. With that being said, just quickly going over to this bad boy right here. Look at this. Did anyone see Elon, man? His stupid dance, man. You're a billionaire, bro. At least get your dance game up. Trump's a billionaire and he's the president and he's got a decent little dance going. But anyways, so yeah, the Doge website has been launched. This is the Doge website right now, and this is all we're seeing on the website, doge.gov, and nothing's happening from it. But you've got Dogecoin up there. Quickly going into Dogecoin right now just to understand the logic. Here we go. See, Dogecoin made a nice little pump to the upside, and it's now pulling back, which is standard cryptocurrency flavor. We always expect that. News announcements, it pumps, and then it dumps all over the place. Just a quick one on the meme coins as well. Look at that. Where's the family now? You got Zuckerberg, Trump fams at the top right there, whatever that is. America is back. USA, 50, Molly, Troge, Nova. There you go. So we're going back to the normal flavor with altcoins, with meme coins. So he came and created a coin, made a ton of money, and chipped. Where's Melina now? Where is it? It's done. And you got Baron. He's a boy, he is, man. He's a top kid, that guy. Maybe he's going to start trending. Who knows? But again, just be careful with the meme coins, man. It's a bit of a chaotic thing across the board. Now, let's get into some updating on Bitcoin and the stock market. So here we go. First things first, on the stock market, we've had, just because the markets have been a little bit off because of the inauguration, of course, Martin Luther King Day and what have you, the markets will be returning, and they'll be returning to 7 distribution days on the NASDAQ and 6 distribution days on the S&P. So what does that mean? Well, distribution days are effectively how many days has the stock market experienced heavy selling, okay? And then 7 on the NASDAQ, 6 on the S&P. Now, the thing we've got to take into consideration, guys, is when you do see distribution days building up, that can be a little bit of a problem. However, looking at this area right here in the bottom right, this is the weekly time frame. You can see that the week is doing okay with volume above average. Going into the daily time frame for the NASDAQ, you can see that, yes, we have quite a bit of selling, but price action seems to be stalling and holding at these points, which could mean that there's profit taking, inconsistencies from investors, moving money around, tariffs and all that story. So even though we do have quite a few distribution days, if the NASDAQ manages to finish positive today of 1% plus, then that would effectively reduce the number of distribution days that are making an impact on the market. So right now, NASDAQ has 7. If we have a positive day today, it will drop it down to 6. So it will cancel out that, and accumulation days, effectively, the market participants are buying stock. Now, just to put things into perspective from last night's video, mad love for everyone who came and watched that one. This stuff right here. Okay, this is the options chain. It's done it bloody again to me, man. Give it a second. Verify that you are a human being, Tino. Yes, I am a human being. This absolutely winds me up. Do that. Here we go. Happy days. Right, cool. So in the unusual volumes of the options market, Nvidia's at the top spot right there, but this was from the 17th. The market has yet to come back to play. So we don't know what the options are going to be until the market opens in the next 15 minutes, right? But at the close of the market on the 17th of January, lots of sell orders were coming in on MicroStrategy. Now, these guys have an expectation that price is going to be out of the money in options. So that's why they're expecting price to come down. Okay, so they want it to come down. And there is a bit of an expectation that MicroStrategy is coming down. Going over into the stock of MicroStrategy itself, just to put it into perspective, you can see here, wait, there we are. So MicroStrategy right now, I'm going to get to Bitcoin. Stick around if you're just new passing through, guys. So MicroStrategy going into the open. Come on, bloody hell, man. There we are. So MicroStrategy has been pulling back. Volume is below average. It's not really that much accumulation, but those sell calls coming into play may give people the illusion that MicroStrategy could be coming down. But usually when Bitcoin pumps, so does MicroStrategy. Now going into it, you can see Bitcoin right now is just trading sideways. There's not that much activity going off in Bitcoin. Coming back towards the psychological levels, going into higher time frames for the guys who trade on the daily time frame, you can see it's been whipsaw. Look at this, man. It's been absolutely horrible to trade Bitcoin, and it would be trying if you were in leverage trades, trying to capture certain moves, okay? So what we've got to look for is today's candlestick primarily needs to close as strongly as it can into the wick. Now, Bitcoin is very, very close to its all-time high, and I do believe that once Trump does start talking about crypto, then we're probably going to see Bitcoin making a move to the upside. Going into the order flow, you can see it's trading sideways right here. 3,259 traders were liquidated in the last hour. That's sad days. But you look down below here, you don't really see that much volume in this fund flow bit right here. But we do have a collection of offers coming in on the table. Look, we've got some big offers coming in. 110,000. That's $25 million that are going to be sold at that point, okay? Now, the logic is that if this move is going to sustain itself, well, did last night's shenanigans bring Bitcoin down to bid for it, to buy it? Well, maybe, because you can see here, we've had quite a bit of flavor. 10 million purchase last night, and then you got another order right here for 16 million when the original order was only 4.77. So it does show me that investors are actually interested in this point in the chart. There is interest in this range, and the market's memory got triggered yet again. As you can see, they came down and bidded Bitcoin in this range, and then they come back down to it again, and then they've now moved away from it. So the logic says that when we zoom out on this, what kind of mode are we in? Are we in a selling mode? Yes, we are. That means that price is going to be rising because investors are looking to sell. So now we need more of a reason for investors to come and buy. That means retailers to come in and buy. Now, going on to that logic, go over to the Bitcoin Coinbase Premium Index, which will put things into perspective for us about whether investors in the US are selling their Bitcoin or not. So looking at this, you can see the Coinbase Premium Index right now is trading in the negative. That negative means that you should take into consideration potential spot buying opportunities. That's how I view this chart. A lot of people on X are sharing this saying it's just turned green. And I saw quite a few guys sharing that when it turned green to this peak up here. And a lot of guys were sharing it and then Bitcoin collapsed. All right. So I never consider a bias of going long on Bitcoin when this is green, okay? Especially when it's pumping up. When it's going green, that means retail is getting trapped. Price action would not mimic this because you just see straight away that when it's going green, that's when prices are rising, and then retail gets the trap, and then it just collapses. Smart money starts buying in these dips, and then price comes back up again. But people will look at this and think, no, they're selling, so I'm going to sell. And they see price going down. That's when they sell. They either get rid of their positions or they go short on futures. And then price just ends up making a reversal. The day that someone put out that we're at the 12, it was like a 12-month low on the Coinbase Premium Index, investors are selling their Bitcoin. That's the day when we said, nope, this is the time you need to buy. Bitcoin shoots up from that point. It's in the videos of the last week or the week before that. All right. So that's what I use this when I use this logic here. I expect Bitcoin to make a move up. Well, you can see we're in that negative bit. So not much buying has been happening from the smart money, but it could mean that there's continuation to the upside in Bitcoin. So we're going to assume that that could be the case. Okay. Having a look at liquidation. So We do have quite a few long liquidations coming into play in the chart. So this right now is the 3-day chart for Bitcoin. You can see we've got some longs currently down at 99,500. But most of, if anything, it's all about short selling, okay? Everyone is going short on Bitcoin. Now, for me to invalidate the idea of Bitcoin going short, okay, you've got to be very careful here. You are trading a macro event. That means Trump can say one thing about Bitcoin and it's going to shoot up. You only have an expectation that Trump is going to be positive about crypto, okay? He's not going to say anything negative now, is he? Especially when he holds a bag or two. Anyone that is shorting Bitcoin, be very careful, because this happened to me with dollar yen. When I was short on dollar yen, especially when Trump was in power, and we had the expectation that relationships between China and the US weren't looking good. And I kept shorting dollar yen, kept shorting and shorting, 50 lot, 100 lot, 50 lot, kept going and going and going, right? And I was in a nice net, like nice short, man. I was in a profit of a good 65, 70,000 pounds, right? And then all of a sudden, Trump comes onto Twitter, and then says things are looking good with China. Bang, everything in the dollar shot back up. My 65K went in the bin, and then we lost another 60, 70 on top. So yeah, Trump cost me a penny or two from one tweet, and we're going back into that right now. Especially now that he's homeboys with Elon, he can pretty much say whatever he wants. If he says something about any economic policies, that's going to get investors a little bit concerned. And we're going back into that era. If you just go back to that time when Trump was in power, a lot of investors were kind of scared about placing bets because Trump was just going to come to Twitter, say something, and he was getting backlash from it. And they were like, please stop talking on Twitter. It's creating FUD, FOMO, what have you. So yeah, we're now going back into it. And he's pretty much got the passport to say whatever the hell he likes. So yeah. Now, any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Any questions from that respect? We keep moving, bro. Any questions? Isn't the USDJPY hike already priced in the market? I mean, last time it dumped hard because the forecast was lower and then released the number. Listen, let me explain something to you. It's not been priced. In my opinion, guys, I don't think that Bank of Japan have priced it in. Do you understand what an interest rate increase is for the Japanese yen? The highest in 17 years, and they've not. Okay. Where is it? This was the last one. 31st of July. There you go. Pump up. Cool. It's dropping. What is that? The hike? Is that pricing in the hike? You're telling me that was the hike, pricing it in? Nah. They're preparing for it. They are preparing for it because the one thing that's on investors' minds is this. Bonds are at a discount. Going over to the bonds market, you can see that bonds are just trading at 97. They're finding the lows. Japan is the largest holder of US debt. Okay, so let's just have a look at the Japanese holdings for a minute right now. Okay. Oh, bloody hell, Tino. Let me just sort this out for you all. Right. Japanese holdings of the debt they are the largest holder. China second, with the UK coming in at third. Right. Now, Japan has been selling off those bonds a little bit. And the idea is that if the bonds are going down, that's no good for them. Okay. Now, let me just show you this chart right here to put it into perspective so you understand what I'm talking about. US debt holdings, right? Here we go. So, go into it all. World major Chinese holding, Japan, total holdings of US Treasury bonds. Look at this, right? That's where we are right now. And this is the major economies holding the US debt, okay? So, Japan right there, you can see that it hasn't really been going down, but it's sort of doing okay. So there's Japan right. Go away. There's Japan right there, okay? Then you've got the UK coming up, about to cross over from China as the second largest holder, right? And then you've got all these emerging markets down here with no interest. But Japan right there at the top side with that, okay? Now, even though they hold quite a significant amount, are they earning money from it? Well, of course they are, but the value of their bond is just taking a nosedive, all right? And the rate is, of course, whatever rate it is, 2-year, 10-year, 18 months, whatever the rates are on the 10-year, of course, 4.5%, 2-year, 4.2%. You've got to say to yourself, all right, yeah, they're earning on the yield, but fundamentally the value of their bond, of the US bond, is going down. So it doesn't help them at all. So how do they get the party started? Well, the only way they can do that is they can force the transaction of borrowed yen to return back to yen. And that's been done by investors buying buying Japanese yen because the interest rate is cheap, converting that yen into dollars, and then from dollars, we get those dollars and we work the stock market, right? Well, when they increase the interest rates to the highest in 17 years to 0.5%, $6.5 to $7.5 trillion in the carry trade, where's it being priced in already? So basically 6.5 trillion, even 50% of that coming out of the market, coming out of dollar. Does it look like it's been priced in? Not at all. I don't think it's been priced in. That's my opinion. Now, one or two things can happen. We can go into the Bank of Japan's policy conference meeting itself. That's on the calendar right here. Go to the calendar and you're looking at, look. Here we go. Look. Look, news is coming out right now. Here we go. Where was it? Bank of Japan. I just saw it. Okay, now ECB will cut, probability the ECB will cut rates next week. Okay. That's interesting. Here we go. Japan is closely watching currency market positions, including those built on speculative bets, because volatility in exchange rates is undesirable. That is true. Why? Well, of course, if you go back to the implied differential rate right here, this has been fluctuating like crazy. And the dates themselves and the terms have been low. Right now, they're 27. Last week, a couple of weeks ago, it was like 8 days, 5 days. It's all over the place. All right. But to put it into perspective for you, saying here, we're definitely watching out for speculative positions on a daily basis, as excessive volatility or disorderly currency markets are undesirable, as stated in the G7 agreement. That's what this dude is saying. In other words, Bank of Japan are going to have to step in on the idea of an intervention if the dollar yen keeps on going up against them, and it's not looking good. Okay, banks' positions for dollar yen is in March. They're expecting dollar yen to be down to 145 in March. Ladies and gentlemen, that's only round the corner. March. That means you're going to have yourself a position from here, a drop in the dollar of around 10%. Why? Carry trade principle. Yen goes up, euro goes up, dollar goes down, gold goes up, interest rate's going to get cut, value on the yield of dollar is no point anymore. Let's go to gold. Bitcoin should follow suit. So to that answer, I don't think it's the case. I mean, ooh, Bitcoin doing all right. Let's have a look. It's doing nicely, doing very nice right now. Check Bitcoin sell orders. Wow, okay. I think the Black Swan event will be World War III. Come on, man. We're on World War 19 right now. Ain't no World War III. We've had so many wars, little wars. They all add up. And listen, there ain't going to be no World War III. It's all going to be economic warfare. That's what it is. And Trump's the guy starting it, believe it or not. That's the real war. Financial war. What's the point? You're in it to make money, yeah? Not spend money. So how do you make money? Tariffs. Trade war. Someone has to win. Because anyone that goes into war technically loses. It costs too much money. You might see mini companies benefiting from it. But you don't, in the bigger picture, it costs you too much. Tell me what, I mean, yeah, you could say that all the wars in the past that America have gone into, have they been profitable for them? Well, it depends on what they've obtained, but that's another story. Any cool questions? Can you check the USDT dominance? Well, let's just have a look here for a second on the 105 region. I'm in a trade on Bitcoin. I've still got my trade open. I think I do. Yeah, oh, we got a nice little trade here with BTCC. So I'm just going to leave this one on. And 3.5 Bitcoin. And yeah, that's doing all right. We use BTCC, which you can trade the stock market on as well, guys. So get involved in that. You get various assets that you can trade. You can trade Nvidia, tokenized stocks, commodities, where we got gold. You can trade gold. What you would use this platform for is to hedge yourself. Okay. So if you're in a position with Bitcoin and it's going sideways, ideally what you want to do is you want to say, I'm going to hold on to a Bitcoin trade, but it's not looking like it's doing anything. It's trading sideways. Let me go over to gold. Is gold moving as opposed to Bitcoin? Is the NASDAQ moving in favor of in favor of upside movement? So you'll take certain positions with the NASDAQ, take certain positions on stocks. Right now, the story with miners, where Donald Trump is trying to make sure that all the mining is done in the US, well, you've got Mara right here. You can trade that stock. And you can trade, what else it is? I think you can trade Riot. But you can trade, you can trade all sorts of assets in this. So get involved. It's in the description. Take advantage of it because you then can really hedge yourself if you're stuck in a position. Because most of you are on just crypto platforms that don't give you the option to trade US stocks and, of course, Forex as well. So if you really play it, you'll have a good hedged portfolio because you've got access to buying these assets. All right. So we'll keep an eye on that position anyway. Any other questions? Yeah. Tina, is there a chart on TradingView to check the global volatility? The only global global volatility, you only need to look at the volatility index because everyone around the world wants to go and buy stocks in the US. The volatility index itself is based on the put-call ratio of the S&P. So how many guys are favoring shorts? How many guys are favoring calls? Prices to go higher. How many guys are favoring puts? Prices to go lower. And the volatility index pretty much tells you their expectation of the future, okay? So right now it's trading sideways. NASDAQ ain't doing nothing. Stock market is going to open in literally a split second. So we're going to see some volatility coming into Bitcoin very shortly. And yeah, I think that would be it. Going into the daily time frame, remember, like I said to you guys, this candlestick needs to close positive. It is above the 5 and 13 EMA for my holders, all right? So if today works out favorably for Bitcoin, make sure that you do see that price is trading as further away as possible from the 5 and 13 EMA. Stay away from meme coins unless you've got a solid strategy. And just don't burn your money. Stick to the heavyweights. Stick to the ones where the liquidity is present. And you're not going to be worried about rug pulls. I mean, Bitcoin gets rug pulled every single day, but we're all love for Bitcoin. All right? But yeah, just keep monitoring this. You want the day's candle to finish positive going into the end of the close. But I'll be breaking that down for you later on tonight in a video. Okay? With that being said, be sure to like and subscribe, guys. Trade safely. The stock market is now open, and they're going to have to absorb what's been going on over the last couple of days. Hit the like, subscribe, and I'm not going to wink. Take care of yourselves. I just did. Peace. What a guy. What a guy.